a man who would have been good on this sort of finish.
It's a bit like, you know, why do you get yourself in a breakaway? Well, you never know. Most breakaways are brought back, but you have to look at yesterday with Trongxiong getting himself in the breakaway, and you thought at the bottom 3.5 minutes, no, it's not going to go all the way to the finish, and it didn't. But he got over that climb, and he got over that climb with, you know, the race leader Sivakov just in front of him, and you know, he used that all the way in towards the finish. So, you know, there are some reasons, you know, behind the kind of madness of, you know, you're going in the breakaway to try and win a stage. Of course, there's stages. We all watched the Tour de France where a breakaway written over it, and there was big, large breakaways going away in these big, long stage races. But today had kind of breakaway written all over it, and it really depended who got in it. Fortunately for 14 of the teams, they managed to get in it. 3 other teams didn't. 2 of them worked, 1 didn't. And it's going to be a successful breakaway today, because it could have come down to a bit of a kind of bunch kick up towards the finish, and we could have seen the likes of kind of Guerrero and Garcia, Cortina kind of sprinting it out. But I'm kind of glad in a way we have got. We're not going to see 2 races in one. I don't think anybody's going to be overly cheeky from the peloton of GC contenders, but maybe Theo Gegenhardt, he's cheeky enough to try and do something in this final climb and maybe steal a few seconds from others. But we're going to see a smile in the face of one of these 7 riders in front.
Well, in the shape of Xabi Asparren and Euskaltel Euskadi, I have to say that they've been putting smiles on the faces of everybody today, even before we started rising. Because their teammate, the rider who a few years ago couldn't ride for the Basque team because he's from Andalusia, Luis Angel Matés, today promised that for every kilometre he rides in a breakaway at the Vuelta España this year, there's going to be a tree planted. One of the areas that he trains in down in Andalusia was a real victim of forest fires recently. So he's going to be replanting a lot of that area. He's got his team to dedicate and double his efforts. The local council down there are going to do the same as well. So a brilliant initiative. Every kilometre in the breakaway for Luis Angel Matés at this particular Vuelta that's coming up now, the rider from Malaga, he is going to plant a tree. So well played, Luis Angel. Eight kilometres to the line. They're still together for now. Almost 5 minutes ahead of a peloton. There is no worries right now. Omar Goldstein, the best placed at 5 minutes 31. Ineos Grenadiers just upping the pace again as that gap goes to near 5 minutes. Again, they'll be wanting to position their leaders as well onto that narrow road at the end, just in case somebody is cheeky, as Brian was talking about.
You can't become complacent no matter what. You know, nothing too much to worry about. But somebody might, well, if Pogacar was here, that's 100% he would do something. But you know, is there anybody else kind of cheeky enough? Because if you chip away, you never know. You know, an unfortunate puncture at the wrong time, or a crash from the race leader, you never like to see that, of course. But you know, you never know, and it's all about kind of moving up, because behind you've got, you know, it's quite close in the general classification, so, you know, no time bonuses, well, they would be gone anyway, but you still want to try and kind of keep your overall position and maybe, you know, leapfrog a few, and you're very capable of doing it in this final climb.
That was Dario Cataldo, the Italian, who, by the way, is a fluent Spanish speaker as well. He'll be very at home here, former Movistar rider. He was being caught. And let's remind you who's in this group then. In the red, you're looking at Govica, the young Slovenian. In the blue and white now with 44 on his back, it's the Flemish rider Seri. Another blue and white rider, 101 on his back, the man from Israel, Goldstein. White jersey, brown shorts, it's the young Frenchman, Rotaillot. In the blue, the dark blue, with the lighter blue M on his back, that's Mas, who comes from the Balearic Islands. And in the green jersey there, the Austrian, Goldstein, Gamper. We've got 2 G's. Goldstein and Gamper. Goldstein here at the back with 101. He's the Israeli rider. 6.3 Ks to go.
Who might want to go first? I was thinking Gamper, And Gamper, if he goes, then he's going to be very difficult. I know he put a big effort in, but he's going to be very difficult to brought back. I would think Peter Sari, but Peter Sari, you know, he's very capable of going up this final climb strong. You know, that's where he comes into his own. Maybe in longer climbs, maybe a lot of them feel as if they don't have, you know, enough power to go. They don't want to maybe go on the attack and risk everything. Maybe they want to risk everything and come to the finish together and see. You know, it's one of these situations where you can jump around beforehand, but if you haven't got the energy, just wait and make one big effort in this final ascent up to the finishing line. But I can't see that happening. Someone has to attack this group.
Seri's got top fives on stages in the Vuelta and in the Giro. Of course, he's been part of team time trial winning teams in the past. He has never taken an individual win. Here he is now at the front. Just over 5.5 kilometres to go. Such a long time since that first season with, I think it was Omega Pharma quick step back then, and he had the television crew following him round all year for a big documentary on Flemish television. He was going to be one of the next stars. He had a top 10 in Lombardy. He was up there in Brabantse Pijl. Since he settled into domestic life and has done it brilliantly well, today is one of his chances as he gets to Coruña del Conde. And we look up the hill to the old Roman town in Clunia to see if he can beat these other 6 riders who are alongside him. He sits at the back here. Remember, the road always going uphill really to the line. 1 or 2% at the moment. Final couple of kilometres gets to a maximum of 7% at one stage. This is the 5k to go mark. How are they all feeling? There'll be some thoughts going on. There'll be some wondering, more optimistic than others. Remember, everybody's different. Some will be trying to talk themselves up. Some might be supremely confident and just trying to keep their feet on the ground. It's very different in each and every one of those 7 heads, Brian.
Yeah, you never know. You always, when you're in a breakaway, a race-winning situation, you're trying to kind of size everybody else up. For the moment, it seems as if they're happy enough to stay together, which may allude to the fact that they don't want to risk it. They don't want to try and go alone. If you do attack now and put everything into it and they chase you down, the others chase you down, then... But then again, if you go on the attack and the others start looking at each other, you know, it could get, you know, rather kind of tactical behind. It does look as if, you know, the way that they're riding at the moment, although they've kind of strung out now, starting to look at it, but they might be thinking, well, legs are a bit tired, I'm just going to save everything for this final climb.
That was a very quick turn from Goldstein there. Asparre moves to the right as well. And here we go. Goveka was just doing up his shoes there as Gamper makes a move. Goveka's the first to follow him.
Not really surprised with Gamper. I think it was kind of written all over him. But he'd already, the question for me is he's already made a big effort. So I was thinking if he's made that big effort, he might just put everything into that final climb. But he is the one that's decided to go and just wait for the counter-attack now. I don't think Mas will. I think Mas is going to wait. But just watch Seri. This is perfect opportunity to go straight over the top.
Asparren was the one struggling off the back as Seri and Goldstein make it a 6. Asparren waiting to see if he can come back now.
Well, Asparren has already showed he's kind of struggling a little bit, but you know, his best opportunity now, I think, is, you know, trying to risk it. Seri thought about it.
And here he goes.
Yep. Said he thought about it, but he kind of hesitated. But this is the best thing that Asparren can do. He's already one attack. He was distanced. The only way he's going to win is if he goes alone.
Xavi Asparren for Euskal Teleuskadi. Seri chasing down. Looks behind, finds Gamper. Goldstein now with 3Ks to go. There's a lot of tired legs out here on a hot day.
Yeah, I don't know if he's kind of holding off a little bit, waiting for the just to have enough room, kind of playing around at the back here, just waiting for that opportunity.
Seri turning those legs like a windmill there. Again, had his head down after that little effort off the front. Got the sense that he needed a little breather. We're coming up to the start of the climb. Last 2 kilometres uphill, remember. 2.3k, so you can just see the point where we turn off and go uphill.
I'm just waiting. Is he going to go? It doesn't look as if he is. That was another opportunity to try and catch them by surprise. So it looks as if he's tired as well, and he's going to save everything for this final climb. Gamper tried, Asparen for Muscatel and the Orange. She was, looking the weakest. He knows that when we hit this climb, the closer we get to the finish, the least opportunity he's going to get. But we have started this climb. I know it's only about 2%.
2Ks to go as Goldstein on the right-hand side slightly accelerates. Seri follows him. Gamper looks around at the back. Govekar, despite his young years, try to play it cool. Rotaillot doing the same. First 500 metres goes uphill at about 5%, then it goes to 2%, and then the steeper bits are the ones we saw on the video around 10 minutes ago. They've got time to play around here as well. The next group on the road is at over a minute down. The peloton is at 4 minutes and 22 seconds right now. It's tense and it's tight. There's so much at stake for each and every one of the 7 riders. Mas, the only man with a pro win outside of any national championships, but Movistar are in the last place in the relegation standings. They need points, and they need them now.
Yeah, Mas seems to be the one that's kind of more relaxed to me. Seri's in second place there. Omar is Goldstein for Israel. Don't know what he's doing here. He's just kind of seems to be toying everybody. But as soon as he moves over, just watch Gamper. He might decide to have a bit of a crack. But closer we get to the finish now, it looks as if everybody's just kind of trying to save as much for that kind of final kind of breach up to the line.
Getting towards 350 metres now till we take a turn. We saw this on the video, and it gets steeper all the way to the line. It's Goldstein, Seri, Asparen, Mas, Gamper, Rotaillot and Govekar in that order on your screen right now. They wait. They wait. Final kilometre starts right here, right now. The finish is up on high. That's what they have to climb. 1,000 metres to go, and that left turn I talked about comes right now. This is where it kicks up. This could be the moment to go. Nobody taking it yet. They look around at each other. There are so many nerves here. They know by this point they've got one opportunity, Brian, and they've got to pick their moment.
Yep, they've got one match left. They've burnt a lot out in the road by the looks of things. The opportunity to surprise was, on the flat. Now we're on the climb. It's just a case of who's got the legs, who's got the power left, who's going to duck and dive to the whole way.
We've got the move on the right-hand side. And it's Xavi Asparen in the orange jersey. Rotaillot trying to move up on the inside. Remember, 30 years of existence for AG Desert Citroën. Yesterday was their 499th victory. Rotaillot looking for number 500, and what would be his first just weeks after signing on as a professional bike rider. For now, though, that attack from Asparen is brought back. We are 500 metres now from the finish line. They're all across the road.
Yeah, it's just getting to the steepest part now. Everybody just saving that little bit for the final sprint.
They can't all afford to win this in the same manner. Remember, some will be faster to the line and be happier to wait. Some will want to go, and we're seeing the winding up maybe of those moves. Seri is one of those riders who'll probably feel he has to attack here. On the left, Mas will be looking to try and sprint. Govekar is a fast finisher as well.
Yeah, I think Mas is looking confident here. He's got, I think, the measure of most of them. He knows. It looked as if he was the only one that was prepared to kind of sit and wait for the sprint.
Into the barriers they go after 3.5 hours of racing. Goldstein on the left is going to launch it. Remember, he's been victorious at the Nationals before in Israel, and he's got a bit of a march here behind. Rotaillot is trying to chase on. There's Seri as well, but Goldstein is out in front. Look at Rotaillot go. Govekar is with him. It's the two young guns. It's Rotaillot again for AG Desert. Rotaillot through the centre. Rotaillot on the right. Govekar approaching. Govekar is there, and Mateusz Govekar grabs his chance. The young guns at it again at the Vuelta Burgos. This time, it's a Slovenian. A lightning fast stage ridden at almost 47 kilometers per hour. And just weeks after turning professional, Mateusz Govecar is now a professional bike race winner. Slovenia's next star is here, Brian.
Yeah, it was a good, very good finish from him. Everybody was in the last legs there, and you know, it was a slow motion sprint, but you know, really pleased for the young Slovenian Govecar winning that stage. But you know, now back in the peloton, they've hit the bottom of the climb. Trek Segafredo's trying to kind of stretch things out a little bit. There will be gaps in the peloton, just like in the first stage, but yeah, a good win there. He just timed it perfection. I thought AG2R were going to get, you know, another win there, but a nice win from the young Slovenian Govecar.
Mateusz Govecar of Bahrain victorious. It's their second stage win of the week. They are having a very, very good race. Juanpe Lopez being looked after as we come into the final kilometre for the peloton. Same left turn, same narrow uphill and occasionally steep roads. Remember, 7 to 8% in the final few hundred metres. Theo Gegenhardt moving at the front. Of course, he has the race leader in Pavel Sivakov there. Riders trying to steal what they can. Gegenhardt attempting to set the best pace. Piccoli coming to the front. Piccoli, I should say, pardon me. On 4-1 here is Urko Berrade. Gegenhardt just following, just waiting, just watching. Rodriguez not too far from his wheel.
Guerrero.
Behind, a little bit of a problem for Guerrero, who went all cyclocross. No gaps as of yet. Sivakov, remember, the race leader sitting there in the purple jersey, third wheel. He has a teammate behind him, the Spanish champion Rodriguez, not too far behind in the green jersey as well. Jai Hindley, they're going to come around the final corner in just a minute before that last rise to the line. And with that beautiful Roman amphitheatre, it's here they're putting on the show. Joao Almeida on his birthday, trying to make sure he loses no more time. No change as of yet. Looks like they're coming to the line in one big mass. No cheeky moves, Brian Smith. And very, very difficult to see too many gaps here now. There will be a little bit of a sprint to the line as they try to see what they can do. Any gaps will be minimum. It looks like there aren't going to be any. It's Theo Gegenhardt streaming them up here, just making sure the gaps are closed. I don't think there is any single gap there, Brian. They all come together to the line at once. It's the same leader with Pavel Sivakov in the purple jersey. Time gaps the same, we imagine, for the top 10, as I couldn't see anybody being distanced there. This man is a new man after today, 22 years of age, Mateusz Govecar, a professional cyclist and now a professional bike race winner. This is how he did it.
You could see Rosello, you know, went there. I thought he went at the, you know, a good time. He looks around. He was in the last kind of 50 metres and saw Govecar coming, and you know, really good win, you have to say. But AG2R coming close again with Ritello, but it wasn't to be. And as you say, Rob, Bahrain victorious are victorious for the second time in this race.
Yeah, all about timing there coming off the wheel. Just look at the headwind. Cross headwind. Govecar done his homework. He came off the exact place that he needed to be, around the right side and at the right time.
I think at the end of the day, it's what you got left in the legs more than anything. That was a kind of slow motion sprint, if you could call it a sprint. Slightly uphill. Maybe, you know, looking back in reflection, Ritello could have waited a little bit on Omar Goldstein's wheel, but he decided that, you know, now was time to go, but he pretty much led out. Govecar just behind. You know, kind of steep enough ramp up towards the finish here. So it did come down to what you had got left, because everybody was on their knees.
And in the ancient Roman city of Clunia, it's the latest young talent from Slovenia who moves cycling on again. He wins stage 4 of the Vuelta Burgos. His name is Mateusz Govecar. 2 days, 2 riders as stagiaires. This one already with a pro contract. 2 wins. Both doing it from the breakaway. And a second wasn't far away, was he? Nearly win number 500 for Age Desert Citroën in their existence. Valentin Retailleau, also proving to be a shrewd acquisition as a youngster. No changes in the general then. We're going to see that fight to Lagunas de Neila, I think, tomorrow. That will really separate everybody for good. This is the top 10. Nothing to separate the top 6, apart from those very small moves and positions.